is the man who's really fighting for his cup medal. Could he score the winning goal now?
Good evening. Quarter-final weekend, but some unfinished business too, with Oldham and Everton meeting for the third time for a place in the last 8. Joe Royle and Colin Harvey, the managers in question, former cup final teammates. Now, the first 2 matches in this tie had already produced a little too much of this. But both teams quite capable of producing plenty of these.
Oh, Barrett's missed it. And it's in! Sharp! So go all the way through to Holden, who chips it up. Marshall! It's there! The ex-Evertonian has headed a beautiful goal.
Cambridge United, of course, were trying to make football history. No 4th Division club had previously been in a semi-final of the Cup, and their manager, well, he has ways of making them tick.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Countdown to pleasure. Cambridge strikers Dublin and Taylor have produced the goals that got them to the last 8. Taylor on the right, scoring in every round. Could they get past the game's most expensive keeper, Nigel Martin of Crystal Palace? Well, we'll also look ahead with Dave Bassett to Sheffield United's big game with Manchester United tomorrow. Nigel Spackman's here to preview QPR against Liverpool. Nigel, of course, now with Glasgow Rangers, has played for both. And Jimmy, as usual, will see fair play all round. But first is to Boundary Park and that 5th round second replay, Oldham against Everton, for the right to play Aston Villa at home in the quarter-finals. Commentary by Tony Gubber.
210 minutes of highly competitive cup football has failed to produce a winner so far, but no end of excitement. And the Oldham manager, Joe Royle, is making a bold bid this afternoon to get this 5th round tie settled at the 3rd attempt, because Oldham will play with only 3 defenders and with 5 up front. Earl Barrett, who passed a fitness test 1 hour before kick-off, will be the sole central defender, with number 6 Neil Redfern asked to make the extra attacker alongside Adams, Palmer, Marshall and Holden. The gale damage postponement of this replay means Norman Whiteside's 1-match ban after being sent off in the 1-1 draw at Goodison coincides with today's second replay, and so he's absent from an Everton team that's also without the injured Dave Watson. And Joe Royle receiving his award as the manager of the month for February. Richly deserved. One new face to add to the proceedings, a new referee, Mr. Roger Milford from Bristol. So Everton start the 3rd chapter of this Marathon Cup tie, which has already produced 2 penalties, 4 other goals, 1 sending off and 9 bookings. And a real testing wind into which Neville Southall kicks. Cotty. Oh, Barlow missed it again. You could look to the wind to cause players problems. Atterveld. Oh, he didn't get it in very well, but it's played back to McCall. Hit from long range, goal kick. Stuart McCall, who scored 2 goals in that 1989 FA Cup final against Liverpool. Not many players have scored 2 in a cup final and been on the losing side, but he was. In Scotland's thinking for the World Cup in Italy. Palmer. Out to Redfern. Plenty to look for. Oh, Marshall! Palmer missed it! Well, he scored 131 goals in his Oldham career. Roger Palmer, he's the club's top scorer, and he ought to have had 132. Marshall won the header beautifully. And Palmer, well, got a foot on it, misdirected, and no power. Sharp. Atterveld. Sharp. And Oldham's throw. So rather Everton's throw. Holden. Snowden. Sheedy. Still plays it with his left foot. McCall with a bit of space. Milligan's tried to close him down. No offside against Sharp. McDonald, the fullback. Cottee! Holworth should get there. Oh, he didn't. Tony Cottee has put Everton ahead. "12 minutes gone in the second replay, and Cottee continues his record of scoring at Boundary Park. He got a goal in the 2-2 draw in the first match here. It was played in by McDonald. Holworth came quickly off his line and looked at one stage as though he'd get there first. Maybe it was held up slightly by the wind, but Cottee flicked it over him. And a great start for Everton. So, Tony Cottee's 6th goal of the season. McCall. Again, some of Everton's play is neat and crisp. They're into passing. This is Adams. Finds Milligan, and there's 3 to look for. This is Henry. Oh, it was well struck, and it wasn't too far above the bar. And with the really fierce wind in his favour, it was always worth a dip. I think Henry's only scored 1 goal for Oldham. And that wasn't too far away from number 2. With 25 yards out, maybe even more. And that shows how close it was. Barlow. And Henry back to his keeper. Came off Keown. And Holden will let it go. So just over half an hour gone. And Henry in possession for Oldham. Ratcliffe won the header. Ebrel back to Snowden. Atterveld. McDonald will get there first. And Sharp was offside. Everton have reached this 5th round, having beaten Middlesbrough in round 3 and Sheffield Wednesday in round 4. And this already their 7th FA Cup tie of this campaign. McDonald's intended a back pass. Palmer might get there. Oh, he did. It's 1-1. A disaster for Everton. Neil MacDonald is the guilty man. Roger Palmer has scored goal 132, and 33 minutes have gone, and still we can't separate these two. And will we ever? What a poor back pass. Palmer had spotted it straight away. He seemed to miss it the first time. Maybe Southall took his eye off it, but he got it the second, through Southall's legs. Came off Barlow. Whistle's gone. That'll be a free kick. Andy Barlow, the man penalised. And 20 seconds to go to half-time. As Snowden prepares to take this kick. And Everton, in turn, have pushed 7 forward, including Keown at Sharp. Missed his kick, so too did Cottee. Milligan. Adams needs help from his captain. Palmer tried to get the little flick on. Cottee, Sheedy, McCall. Everton ending the half on a high. Oh, Atterveld! Well, the Dutch under-21 international did the right thing. He kept his eye on it. He sprinted inside the fullback. Maybe if he looks at this again, he will feel he could have done better with his foot rather than his head. And in the end, it was a foot too high. Well, this first half has now moved into time that Roger Milford has added on for any stoppages. Cottee, MacDonald up from the back. He's got plenty of space to make a good cross. Atterveld off the side of the foot. Well, there's not quite the grittiness about this match today that there was in the two previous encounters. Ratcliffe, Holden, McCall, Snowden, Sharp, and the whistle goes to end the first half, and still we can't separate them. Cottee putting First Division Everton ahead after 12 minutes, Palmer equalising after 33, and at least another 45 minutes to come, and maybe more beyond that, because at half-time at Boundary Park, it's Oldham 1, Everton 1. So Oldham start the second half, and it's interesting that both goals in the first half came from the one-on-one situation with the keepers, where the keepers at one stage looked favourite to win it. Maybe an indication just how difficult the conditions are. McCall getting forward early. And just keeps it from going behind, and wins the throw. MacDonald who's gone forward to take it. Everton now kicking into the end where their fans are. MacDonald. Placed by Redfern. Sheedy, it went out. Oldham's throw. Everton have played in 11 FA Cup finals in their history, winning 4. And most notably, of course, in 4 of the last 6. And in fact, Everton's only FA Cup defeats in the 2 previous seasons were both at the hands of Liverpool. In the final in '89, and then put out by Liverpool in the 5th round in '88. Cottee. Nice flick inside to Ebrel. Snowden. Sharp's header. Oh, it was only just wide, and Hallworth couldn't quite find his feet. Flashing header from the Everton number 9, Graham Sharp. Snowden who played the ball in. Sharp won it cleanly, and it's only just wide of that corner. We'll have to be quick. Oh, Ratcliffe missed it. He's put Palmer in, and there's 2 to look for. Holden! Oh, hit the defender, Snowden. Oldham will think they should have scored through Rick Holden. But what? Well, an aberration by the Everton captain, Kevin Ratcliffe. Under no pressure at all, it went right underneath him to let Roger Palmer in, whose cross found Holden, whose header was blocked by Snowden. Redfern, Palmer, Adams, first time, and is that too far forward? Keown touched it, that's gone behind, it'll be a corner. Well, in fairness to players, you really do have to underline how strong and gusty the wind here is at Boundary Park. which incidentally is one of the highest grounds in the Football League. We really are exposed at the foot of the Pennines. Southall missed it. Oh, and it would have counted. There'd been no whistle. Redfern holds his head in his hands. Snapshot, plenty of fours, but miles too high. Southall missed it in an absolute posse of players, and Redfern missed the target. Barlow. Oldham's ball. Marshall nicely down to Palmer. Oldham got it back to Henry. And Barlow. That was blocked. Didn't go. Holden. It's it back to Henry again. Milligan. Irwin's come well forward. He's got quite a shot on him, this boy. Beautifully struck. And it needed a keeper of the quality of Southall. Although it was right at the keeper, he daren't take his eye off that. Dennis Irwin's only scored once this season. He's got a really good right foot. And that's brought Oldham a corner. And reawakened the crowd. And it looks like Holden to take it. And hit really long, in fact too long. Henry got in. Oldham's ball. Well, they've finally decided that Adams will take it. And he gives it to Redfern. Palmer. Oh, good play. And a good right foot cross. Headed was by Keown. Milligan. And the whistle's gone. And Holden, I think, who'd gone into an offside position. Well, here's the shot again from Dennis Irwin. He's got a clear sight of Southall, and it would have gone in anywhere perhaps other than right at the keeper. Redfern. Henry. Oh, his touch was good. Holden. Barlow comes up in support. There's an attempt at a shot, and it's fallen to Beagrie. Cotty gives it him back. Sharp's available wide on the right. Beagrie through the middle. There was a push in the back from Milligan, was there? Yes. He's worked really hard this afternoon, Mick Milligan, the Oldham captain. Tireless, this England under-21 international. That came off the wall, that'll be a corner. So the wall did its job. And Shealy's free kick earns a corner. Near post. Allworth dropped it, and it's in. Is it Cotty? No, it's a foul on the keeper. So the referee's decision goes in favour of the keeper. Here's the corner again. Came off Marshall. Hallworth jumped for it with Cotty and lost it. And Hallworth with the kick. Oh, takes it short to Barrett. That's put his defender in trouble. It's dispossessed by Sharp to Cotty in the net with the flags up. It's offside. Cotty's looking at the referee, and it's no goal. Snowden concedes a throw. And Joe Royle looks a little bit impassive. Almost a yawn there in the middle of the dugout. It's been a strange encounter today. Certainly lacked the fire and the sparks of previous matches. It's 1-1 after 90 minutes and we have 30 minutes extra time. Tired legs, particularly for Oldham, I'm sure, who played against West Ham in midweek. Remember, they've played 3 times since the last encounter with Everton. Everton, in turn, have only played once, and so extra time perhaps harder for the home side than the visitors. And the evidence of that little conversation would seem to be that manager Joe Royle is going to put on his substitute Paul Warhurst for extra time. Certainly seems to be the case. And I think that's what he's telling Roger Milford, the referee, that Warhurst will start the 30 minutes of extra time. And it'll need a careful look around to decide who's gone off. I think it's number 7, Neil Adams. Well, as Snowden gives that ball back to Neville Southall, I'll try to confirm that for you. So Warhurst on, 20 years of age, and a young player who's attracted a lot of attention from bigger clubs. And that should be a goal kick. Came off Marshall and steered back by Snowden. Marshall, Palmer gives it in back. Oh, that could be a penalty. What a foolish tackle by MacDonald. That was stupid. Marshall was chasing a ball that he might not even catch. He was running away from the goal. And why did Neil MacDonald tackle him from the back? It was absolutely pointless. And it's a penalty to Oldham right at the start of the first period of extra time. And so every tie has had a penalty. In the 2-2 draw there was a penalty, in the 1-1 draw there was a penalty, and now Marshall with a penalty for Oldham. And he nearly buried that through the back of the net. Oldham are ahead, 2-1, and they will reflect what a pity that didn't happen just before the end of the 90 minutes. Marshall's 4th goal since he became an improvised centre-forward, the first from the penalty spot. Oldham ahead 2-1, and Neil MacDonald, well, he gave away the equaliser with the back pass, and has he now cost Everton their place in this season's FA Cup. Now here's Cotty for Everton. Oh, good save, Hallworth, from Cotty. There's still a long way to go. Everton might yet force that 3rd replay at Goodison on Tuesday. Cheeky. Barlow tries to pick somebody out. Hit long. And it was Redfern who nearly got in, and MacDonald conceded the corner. Marshall and Palmer inside the 6-yard box. And 4 more Oldham players around the area. And Southall took a dig. And he felt it. Barrett's came off the Everton player, Oldham throw. Barlow with the throw. Well, Roger Milford's indicated that will have to be taken again because Everton want to make a substitution, and I don't suppose there's any real surprise that the man they're taking off is number 3, Neil MacDonald, and on comes Mike Newell. So Everton have sent on both their substitutes and are now committed to an extra player up front as they search for an equaliser. Holden. Palmer! And a clean header. Sheedy checks onto his left side. Cotty, Keown, Beagrie pushed out wide, and this will be a patient build-up. Ratcliffe. Cottee. That's the Oldham fans who are blowing out their cheeks to draw Roger Milford's attention to that we've played over 15 minutes, and he agrees. So the first period of extra time ends with Oldham ahead by 2-1. And what more can this fifth round tie produce in the last 15 minutes? One or two players look very tired. Ian Marshall among them. 15 minutes left to play, and the reward would be a 6-round place here on Wednesday night against Aston Villa. Oldham, who've not got into the quarter-final since 1915, which incidentally was also the season when Everton pipped them for the First Division title by just 1 point. Long kick by Southall. Redfern. Palmer. Redfern again. Irwin. Marshall. Sheedy. Intended for McCall, but well read by Henry. Redfern. And that's way over Southall's goal. Cottee having to come back deep. And Marshall took it away from Ebrel. He's got Palmer available. He picks out his colleagues on his left foot. This is Holden, it's not clear yet. Marshall. Oh, it's gone over the top. Oldham should have scored. Maybe if Ian Marshall had just taken a glance to his left, there was absolutely nobody on Roger Palmer. He could have slipped it across to his striking colleague, and that would have wrapped it up. He looks very, very weary, Ian Marshall. One man who has still got lots in his legs is Milligan, the captain. A good cross! Oh, Holden does it. No, it was Marshall again. He just hasn't got the strength left, has he? Redfern. And Ratcliffe can settle things down. But Oldham had 2 chances there in the space of a minute to wrap it up. I'm not taking anything away from Ian Marshall because he's been a tower of strength up front wearing that unaccustomed number 9 shirt, but he looks absolutely gone. Milligan to Redfern. He can hardly run, Ian Marshall, on the far side. Holden can. Redfern! Well, they're almost taking pot shots at Southall. He'll take it quickly, but Roger Milford's looking at his watch. He's on the centre circle, and the whistle's in the mouth, and it's all over. And Oldham's famous unbeaten record continues, and in what dramatic style. And I wonder how much they've got left, because it's a 6-round quarter-final tie now here against Aston Villa on Wednesday. And are the players up to it? They must be exhausted. The players mobbed as they leave, and a final score at Boundary Park. Oldham 2, Everton 1, and another fabulous match, thoroughly entertaining. Ian, how hard was that?
Well, it was just as hard as the other 2 games. Like, you know, obviously it was a battle, and it was obviously one goal was going to win it for either side. Unfortunately, it was our side that won.
In the last period of extra time, you had a couple of chances, but you looked absolutely too exhausted to do anything.
Well, I think everyone was, really shattered. I was a bit disappointed that I didn't score again, because I did have 2 really clear-cut chances, but it doesn't really worry me now. Now the final whistle's gone and we've won 2-1.
Sure. Tell us about the penalty.
Well, I don't. Someone hit a long ball. I can't really remember much about it. I remember running through it and then getting in front of Neil MacDonald, and then I just remember getting brought down, and then I got up. Obviously, I forgot. As I said, Andy Ritchie normally takes them, and I forgot I was taking them, and then I got up and I'm walking, and then I realised I'm taking the pen, so I just grabbed the ball, put it down, and hit it, and lucky for us, it went in.
Have you got anything left now to face Aston Villa in the quarter-final here on Wednesday?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, obviously we're off tomorrow. We'll probably have a light day Monday and Tuesday, and then, you know, obviously we'll get our fitness and our strength back again, and then we'll go out and look forward to another good game.
When Andy Ritchie's fit, you won't want to give him the shirt back, will you?
I don't know about the shirt, but he's not taking any more pens.
I like the tie.
Well, it's my lucky one. I haven't lost yet since I've been wearing it, so you know, it'll stay on a few more games, hopefully.
It had to be for a reason. I got the impression, and you did too, I think, that Everton were under more pressure to win that all the way through.
Yes, it was noticeable really just before extra time when the manager was out in the field with them. Colin Harvey was under pressure and really, you know, having a go at his team. And Joe Royle was there like it was an afternoon cup of tea time, you know, just relaxing, laughing with the lads, everything's going to be all right. Because he's having a wonderful time, of course, and Colin Harvey is under pressure for his league position, and maybe this chance of getting to Wembley, which went this afternoon, you could save him. So it's you could feel that tension and that pressure, and I think it had an effect on the way the team played. I mean, Neil MacDonald as a player, not that he was to blame for everything that went wrong with Everton, but he had a marvellous start in the game, apart from the first missed kick, when he laid on the ball for Cottee, and it really was a superbly weighted pass, but the great thing was he spotted Cottee for a moment unmarked, glided the ball through there, a beautiful turn, and this goes much better than it looks. He got that ball over the head, the diving hands, really, of the keeper very well indeed. But then, of course, his moment of glory past, comes this moment, a soft back pass. Palmer reads it well, and as he goes in, he misses with the first kick, but then manages to contact the ball and force it out of Southall's hands. There can be arguments here that it is dangerous play. We've had the argument about the Crosby one this week. This wasn't a header. It was contact with the ball, with his boot. Now, does Southall get it in his hands or not? And if so, would you have given dangerous play if you had been the referee? That's something that will keep us arguing for the rest of the week, but those things don't run for you when you most need them. But lastly, under the pressure again, there's no need here for anybody to deal with Marshall because he's running out away from the goal. But in the panic, he slid in there, and I don't think anybody's going to argue about that being a penalty kick. So here, the pressure does shape results sometimes.
We should emphasise we're not picking on Neil. It wasn't entirely down
Not
to him.
indeed. I mean, Southall would have been unhappy that he didn't actually get that ball more firmly in his hands as well.
Oldham are doing so well in the cup competitions. What will it do for their promotion hopes, do you think?
I think they're doing wonderfully well at the moment, and I don't wish to disappoint anybody or write their season off in the league now, but my experience tells me that the emotion of all these replays and the matches that they're playing and the heavy fixtures that they've got are going to take their toll, and I wouldn't back Oldham for promotion, but it'll be a wonderful season anyway.
Certainly. Well, for Cambridge United, today's match against Crystal Palace was their 10th in the competition this season. The whole team cost just £85,000. Well, they were bidding for a place in the record books by becoming the first fourth division club to make it to the semi-finals. John Motson at the Abbey Stadium.
The tight Abbey Stadium, packed to its capacity of just 10,000, as Cambridge United marked the biggest day in their history with record gate receipts of £60,000. And the fourth division side are at full strength. Number 9, Dion Dublin, plays despite being involved in a motor accident last night, and number 11, Lee Philpott, passed a late fitness test on an ankle injury. 8 of the starting 11 came to Cambridge on free transfers. Crystal Palace, though, without their centre-half Jeff Hopkins with an Achilles injury, so Gary O'Reilly wears the number 5 shirt. And in the absence, too, of the suspended Mark Bright, Palace gamble on the fitness of Ian Wright, who hasn't started a first-team game since he broke a bone in his leg against Liverpool 7 weeks ago. Referee this afternoon is Karen Barrett of Coventry. Well, it may seem an unlikely stop on the road to Wembley. Cambridge in the 6th round, but the true flavour of the FA Cup comes to a university city, and Palace in the red and blue stripes have got to try to pass a stiff examination here. Already they're pushing Gary O'Reilly up for a long throw. And O'Reilly jumps with Salako Pardew in. Cambridge all in yellow, hoping to make history today. Left back is Kimball, Alan Kimball. And they're looking for Taylor, number 10. Trying to turn O'Reilly. Dublin's in the middle waiting. So is Cheetham here, Ledbetter. And it's a header. Just enough to get the ball away by Thomas, the captain. And now Palace breaking with Barber, number 7. And Salako comes near post and tries to set Pardew up. And now Pemberton. Kimball, who got in quickly. Taylor on the hunt, and Dublin to his right. It's 2 against 2 here, and danger here for Palace. It's still Taylor, chance! And he scuffed the shot across the goal, the man who's scored in every round. And Palace there were undermanned. They'd pushed people up, and when Cambridge broke, Taylor and Dublin were 2 and 2 against the defence. Taylor turned his man beautifully. Nigel Martin was on the 6-yard line, making the angle difficult, and the shot went away. That was Salako. Header by Dion Dublin. And then by Cheetham. Now Taylor tries to hold off O'Reilly and does. It's John Taylor still, backheel to Dion Dublin. Good play by the 4th Division team. Nice touch, which put Dublin in from John Taylor. And that's the corner off Kimball. It'll be Barber to take the corner. Thorne being marked by Taylor. And it's easy for John Vaughan, formerly with West Ham and Fulham, goalkeeper. Salako. Barber battles away there with Fensham, the right back for Cambridge. Has come across to deliver the throw. Salako comes in front of Wright now. Pardew's in there too. And there's space on the left-hand side for Cambridge. They were really quick to see it, the 2 players who broke there. This is Dublin. And that was Philpott, and it was nearly Cheetham. Couldn't quite collect it. Away by Shaw. Fensham. Gray, and to his right in a good position here, Salako. A lot of space. Palace with 5 forwards up in this attack. And he's got help here, and Wright's there, so was Chappell. This is Thomas, and Gray! The flag stayed down, and Andy Gray volleyed wide. He had to take it instantly, as it was headed back in, I think by Jeff Thomas, and he wasn't offside, was he? There were 2 people playing him on, and that would have been some goal had it gone in from Andy Gray. Taylor, Dublin, looks for Cheetham, that's Richard Shaw, then O'Reilly, not a particularly good defensive header, Philpott, up against Pemberton. Corner. So half an hour gone, corner to Cambridge United. Taylor and Daish taking up their near post positions as Bailey prepares to curl it in. Taylor. That was Pardew. And again. Wright. Kimball. Salako. And Taylor. And it was O'Reilly who came across. Free kick, but no advantage. Daish. corners again for Taylor to pull the defence wide. But Palace at the moment are covering that all the time. Well, John Beck was a mere player here the first 3 matches of the season. He was on the pitch for Cambridge. He was Chris Turner's assistant. He got thrust into the limelight after the 3rd round, and since then he's won 2 Manager of the Month awards in the 4th Division, and he's now a household name at 35. This is Chapel. Thumped forward again, route 1. Taylor didn't fall for him. On by Thomas. Now this is Ian Wright, and Andy Gray's right in the middle, and Pardew's making good ground as well. That's Wright's cross, Pardew! Oh, well hooked out by Liam Daish, and Gray. Pardew looked to have the first opportunity. But there was some good defending by the number 6, Liam Daish, who I have to say is a player worth watching. They've been looking at him, a few of the scouts, because he saw the danger there as Pardew was prepared to pounce. It's Daish who hooks the ball out from inside the 6-yard box, and then Andy Gray, who's seen 1 or 2 come down for him to volley already this afternoon, hooked that one well over. Solid performer, this number 6, the Cambridge captain, Liam Daish. Dublin. That was Leadbitter with the pass, and Nigel Martin well out. Oh, straight to Philpott. As the goalkeeper hurries back, it's Kimball. Taylor. And again. That came off Pemberton, it's a corner. And Cambridge pressing strongly now. Working the Palace defence. That was Thorne's header. This is Salako. Here's Cheetham. Taylor, Dublin! And it's Dion Dublin, and he's too wide, surely. Just occasionally, when the chances look to be in the offing, Cambridge have got forced a bit too wide. This was Dublin against Andy Thorne, and Thorne knew where he wanted Dublin to go, which was effectively nowhere. Bailey, Cheetham. Again they try the early ball forward. Dublin, Cheetham. Oh, he did well to get past O'Reilly. It's Michael Cheetham on a run here. And it's still Cheetham. And he's found Bailey. And there are 2 on the far post. And if only he'd put a bit more lift on the ball. Taylor and Philpott were waiting to nod it in. Good move. Bailey's cross. And at the other end, Palace are breaking ominously with Wright. Daish got to him. Well, there may not have been any goals, but there have been plenty of possibilities. And Bailey there with a slightly higher cross could have delivered the ball that would have enabled Cambridge to open up the scoring. Dublin. Philpott pushing Pemberton. And he's very unhappy with the decision, the Palace right back. And in fact it won't matter because the referee then blows for half-time. And a standing ovation actually here because Cambridge have acquitted themselves far better than a 4th Division side, and Palace have had to be at their 1st Division best and most attentive in defence to keep them out. There's been opportunity but no goals in the first 45 minutes. Well, the record of 4th Division teams in the FA Cup, 3 have previously got to this stage: Oxford United, Colchester and Bradford City. With Shaw, now Fensham. Here's Thomas for Crystal Palace. This is Barber. And Salako pulling away beyond Kimball. And danger there. Again, that man Daish was the player who stepped in. Back again by Pemberton. This is Salako. And Chappell this time away from Barber. The two central defenders distinguishing themselves for Cambridge. But it's Palace who start the second half on the offensive. Thorne is facing the kicker. O'Reilly's up just behind him. And Pardew comes in with the goalkeeper. That's Andy Thorne. Chappell away. Thomas. Still not clear. Wright with a chance for Palace. Saved by the goalkeeper's legs. And Bailey clears. And Ian Wright has the best chance of the match. And John Vaughan thwarts him. They won't come any cleaner than that. Palace must be reflecting on the best chance of the afternoon. And it couldn't have fallen better, really, for Ian Wright. He's onside, he gets it down, and tries to slide it with his left foot. But look how well John Vaughan spread himself. He gets credit for that. Taylor. This is Fenson for Cambridge. Thomas. Barber. Thomas. Ledbetter. Well, it's fast and furious still. It's with John Pemberton. That's promising from the fullback. Deflection. Right! Well, he swung at that pretty quickly, but it was loose, but it was wide. And Pemberton, coming from a deep position, did awfully well here. The deflection is off Daish, and Ian Wright swings at it, but it's well wide. Good, solid play from the fullback, though. Saw his chance to come forward. That's Dublin, and it needed Shaw to intervene. It's a corner to Cambridge. Now, can Bailey find one of the Cambridge heads with this corner kick? Crowd certainly think this could be the moment. Taylor and Daish are both in there. And Dublin came in at the back, but Nigel Martin showing presence there as he was challenged, and in fact, he was fouled. Well, Cambridge couldn't have asked more from their supporters or from their players. They've given it everything, but it's still 0-0. Ledbetter. This is Bailey. Now Jeff Thomas. Looks up, and a good ball too. Right, Gray. Play on, Kimball. It's looking for Dublin. Controlled it well. Kimball. Philpott. Deflected, and Taylor's in the middle. Just wanted looping a bit, that really, over and away from Nigel Martin. And it was a half chance, perhaps even a bit more. It was Lee Philpott's cross that was deflected. He's onside here, Taylor. It's off a defender, but he didn't really steer it away from the goalkeeper, did he? It was Kimball who waited for the bounce. He may have waited too long. This is Gray. Kimball recovered to make the telling challenge. That was O'Reilly. Pardew comes in and Chappell clears it for a corner. They've defended well, the First Division team, and now they're on the attack with Gray about to take the corner. Thomas has scored for Crystal Palace. Number 8. And they're in front. In the last quarter of an hour. 78 minutes. And the 4th division side are caught out from the corner kick. And Jeff Thomas, 25 years old, the captain, the man who turned the Portsmouth tie in the 3rd round, may have turned this one. It's Gary O'Reilly, really, who causes confusion. Barber tries to hook a shot in and fails. It comes back out to Thomas, and it's through the legs of Chappell. How unlucky. And the goalkeeper never saw it. It's Cambridge United 0, Crystal Palace 1. And Palace have got an eye on the semi-final. And is the dream over for John Beck's Cambridge? Or can they come again? Fensham. And Dublin's there! Philpott, surely! And away by O'Reilly. It nearly was 1-1 straight away. Every time a team scores, they seem to have a moment when they freeze at the other end, and Palace did then. As it turned out, Cambridge could have equalised straight away because Dion Dublin looked favourite to come in on the header. He only got half a touch on it, really, and the angle for Philpott, well, he did his best, but it was not to be, and so John Beck sits and ponders. This is Gray, effective in the second half, both on the right and on the left. Here he is now with Wright going beyond him, still Andy Gray. He's got Salako to his right. It's a great run, this, and that might have been one of the goals of the season. I don't think he'd say it was the best shot he ever hit in his life, but he ran from miles away, taking defenders in his wake, and in the end didn't get the power behind the ball that the run really deserved. Still not far away. If there's a glimmer of hope, it will burn in Cambridge hearts right to the end. Chappell having to hurry, though, to try and cut off Wright, and this could end it. Wright's away, and he's got Gray in a great position square, and Ian Wright and Andy Gray, did he handle it? The linesman says yes, the referee hasn't seen it, it's still Gray, and there's number 2, is it, by Salako, but no, surely there was a handball. I wouldn't think that goal will stand. Salako put the ball in the net. Karen Barrett, the referee, then saw the linesman's flag. Now that was for hands against Andy Gray when the ball first came in, if you watch this. Ian Wright is clear. Goalkeeper goes to meet him. Now watch number 4, Gray. That's a handball. Free kick to Cambridge, foul by Pardew. Now, Chappell knows this is the maybe last opportunity. Dublin's in there, they're appealing for something, but it hasn't been given. Cheetham, can he get away from Barber? He has. Michael Cheetham. That's his cross. Dublin! The linesman had his flag down. There was no offside here. Michael Cheetham got the ball in from the right, and Dion Dublin, well, there were 2 players offside, I thought, but nothing was given in that way, and it remains 1-0 to Crystal Palace. This is now Andy Gray in the 3rd minute of stoppage time, forcing a corner to Crystal Palace. And Gray and Wright take up their positions. It's been played short. This is Salako. Chappell. Dublin, and still they come. Philpott. Can they save it yet? Well, not like that. John Salako. Thomas, the goal scorer. And Crystal Palace are through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Cambridge United of the 4th Division see the Twin Towers of Wembley fade and can't quite make history. A really good cup time, must be said. The crowd appreciated it. It was very well contested and in the best possible spirit. And the disappointed 4th Division players are consoled as they leave the field, but they leave their name on the FA Cup in 1990. As for Palace, thanks to Jeff Thomas, they're still on the road to Wembley.
Well, Jeff, what's the Palace reaction in the dressing room after that victory?
Obviously, very happy about the result and everything. We knew before we came here it was going to be such a hard battle, but we got the goal that counted.
Well, you got the goal that counted. One of your better ones, or a hint of good fortune about it?
A lot of good fortune, I think. A very rare one to get with the right foot. Scuffed it in, really.
I think it went through the defender's legs.
It did. Big centre-half, he just got his legs twisted up a little. Just went through his legs and unsighted the goalkeeper.
Do you see this as a platform now for Cambridge to win their games in hand and still make the 4th Division promotion stakes?
No, we were potentially good enough to get promotion, but we was potentially good enough to win this game today, but we didn't. But just remains to be seen now.
The goal itself, when we look back on it, I think there was a hint of bad luck there for Phil Chappell, wasn't there? I mean, it went through his legs.
Yeah, I think if you look back, he actually did go through his legs, and he's got a habit of being nutmegged in training, so we'll have to take the mickey out of him next week.
And yet within seconds you could have equalised, couldn't you? I mean, there was a cross went in very close to Dion Dublin.
That's right. I think the 2 best chances we had fell to our 2 strikers. One to John Taylor early in the first half and one to Dion late in the second half, so, but it wasn't to be, never mind.
Well, you won't be forgotten, will you? I mean, your name's on the actual road to Wembley, even if you won't be there yourselves.
Yeah. Please don't come again, John. You're a bad omen, you.
Well, Cambridge have had a great run, but they couldn't do much with their chances today.
Now, that celebrated author and local...
There's the man who's really fighting for his cup medal. Could he score the winning goal now?
Match of the Day Live comes to West London, where it's 10 years since Queen's Park Rangers were beaten in the FA Cup. Master tactician Don Howe will have laid the groundwork for a QPR victory this afternoon. Kenny Dalglish will have told the Liverpool players precisely what he expects of them here at Loftus Road. The last FA Cup tie Liverpool lost was the 1988 final, and it was a Howe plan that beat them then.
Sanchez was in there, and that's a goal for Wimbledon.
Queen's Park Rangers under Don Howe have seen a rejuvenated Kenny Sansom. Ray Wilkins running the game better than ever. And they have a player who on his day can win a match for you, the skillful Roy Wegerle.
And still has possession. Oh, that's an absolute beauty.
But of course, Liverpool are always a class act.
And Beardsley picks it up again. A longer ball this time. Barnes! Yes! Whelan. McMahon. Beardsley. Oh, well played by Beardsley. Lovely goal. Vintage Beardsley.
QPR against Liverpool about to begin. And at half-time here, we'll have the action from the day's other quarter-final, Sheffield United against Manchester United. Good afternoon. We're looking forward to this one. I trust you are too. And of course, we've got the semi-final draw live for you at the end of proceedings here. Now, Jimmy, what are these tactics that Don Howe's going to employ to win this match against Liverpool this afternoon?
Well, Nigel Spackman said last night in Match of the Day that since they've employed the sweeper system here at Rangers, they've had this wonderful run of results. And in front of a goalkeeper as good as any in the league, Paul Parker is the perfect man for that sweeper position. He's in excellent form. The advantage it is that it enables the man-to-man marking players to tackle with confidence, knowing that if they should miss, there's always a man behind to cover up. And also he reads the through balls coming through the defence. But more than that, in an attacking sense, the fact that any one of those players can break forward, knowing that they're covered if the move breaks down, gives them the freedom to do what Kenny Sansom did so well at the start of the programme there. So it's good as an attacking system as well as a defensive one.
Of course, tactics alone don't win matches.
They don't. They're won by great performances, really, from outstanding players. And we know the Liverpool players only too well who are liable to do that this afternoon. But Roy Wegley is the one that interests me, because I've heard him barracked here by the crowd and they've been on their feet at the same time almost. Because he is a player with great pace who is capable of turning any defence. If it's his day, then Rangers could win this match.
Right, we'll see what he can do this afternoon. OK, let's take a check on the teams now. And our commentary team this afternoon, Trevor Brooking and John Motson.
Thank you very much, Desmond. Well, let's take Rangers first, because Don Howe found team selection easy. When you've only lost 2 of your last 18 games, you tend to keep it the same. That's what he's done. The only fresh information is that Mark Falco is back as a substitute, having missed 8 matches with a knee injury. He's scored against Liverpool here in the league in November when Rangers won 3-2. Now, on the other hand, Kenny Dalglish had 2 quite major decisions to make. He's brought Glenn Hussein back at number 2 at centre-back after his suspension and dropped Gary Gillespie to substitute. And he's got Ray Houghton starting now at number 8, which suggests to us that Steve Nicol, number 4, will play at left-back because they've omitted David Burrows. In fact, that was the way Liverpool finished last week's match against Millwall, with Nicol at left-back and Houghton on the right-hand side of midfield. Well, I've got Trevor Brooking with me, and your thoughts as we approach this 6th round cup tie?
Well, I think the selection of Ray Houghton on the right of midfield, then John Barnes wide on the left, is very important. It's a positive selection, because really you want the 2 QPR fullbacks, Kenny Sansom and David Barsley, who both like to get forward in this sweeper system, actually concentrating on the defending side. And if, as I say, Houghton and Barnes can push forward and make sure that they can't get up there to support the Rangers' attack, then perhaps Liverpool, can create a few openings themselves. But I think QPR will realise as well that they need to win this home match, because I don't think they'd relish the idea of going up to Anfield for a replay.
Well, they're playing as in front of an all-ticket crowd. The tight little football theatre here in West London holds 23,500 people. There'll be something approaching that here today, and 5,600 Liverpool fans are here, most of them at that left-hand end, awaiting the kick-off now. QPR have only been to the semi-finals once before in their history. That was in 1982 when they reached the final. They're aiming for that today, and the master tactician in the spectacles, we're wondering whether he can put one across Liverpool yet again, or will Liverpool continue this run of 17 unbeaten games, 10 wins and 7 draws, and they are, of course, the holders and the 7-4 favourites for the FA Cup, so it couldn't be set up better on a Sunday afternoon in good weather, good playing conditions. Liverpool in red, Queen's Park Rangers, blue and white hoops, and Liverpool kick off, and Wegley's got the ball straight away, but he was surely in the Liverpool half before the ball was actually centred, so we've got a false start. And referee gives me a chance to mention him. It's Brian Hill from Kettering, who took charge of that final between Liverpool and Wimbledon, with 1 or 2 interesting incidents which we may have to refer back to. But here's Bardsley for QPR, right back. And straight away, the marking system has to be picked up. Maddox, the number 6, is going to mark Rush, and MacDonald, the number 5, is going to mark Beardsley, leaving Parker free to sweep. And that was the way they played in the league game when Rangers won 3-2. That was Simon Barker. And Hussein tested for the first time on his return from a 1-match ban. It's a good ground for atmosphere, this Loftus Road. It's a football stadium in the truest sense of the word. The crowd very close to the pitch, and for seated stands on all the sides. Here's Hansen. Whelan for Liverpool, looking for Rush. And this is Kenny Sansom. Despite his great experience, he's never played in an FA Cup final. That was Wegerle with Hussain. Now it's McMahon. Now Nicol at left-back, as we said, wearing number 4. And Houghton, number 8 here, on the right side of midfield, finds Barnes. And straight away, it was Maddox who came into the challenge. Number 6, his job, really, is to look after Ian Rush, and what a sizable task that is. Parker forward for Rangers. Venison. Houghton. Into Beardsley. Sansom. McMahon, number 11. And here's Barnes up against David Bardsley, 2 former Watford colleagues. And Barnes has tricked his way through, and Seaman didn't hold it, but he did the second time. Good break by Barnes. Swift off the mark, into the heart of the Rangers' defence. And it brought a save from David Seaman, which saw the ball bounce back off him, but he got there before Rush. Beardsley. Houghton. And that was Bardsley. He and Barnes played together in the Watford side that reached the cup final in 1984 and the semi-final 3 years later. Today they're on opposite sides, but on the same side of the pitch. Here's Wegerle. Clark. Away from Hansen, but there's nobody on that side of the area for Rangers. It's Parker's header to Maddox. Two linesmen today, by the way, Kevin Lynch of Lincoln and Bill Whitehouse of West Bromwich. There goes Beardsley, and Parker, the free man, comes across. Here's Beardsley. Whelan. McDonald. Oh, it was a bad ball by Clark, and it was snapped up by Whelan, who found McMahon. Clark tries to retrieve the error. Nicol. Up against Bardsley. Corner, is it? Yes. Well, Colin Clark really put his side in an awkward situation there with a pass which went astray in his own half of the pitch. So Liverpool have the corner, and Beardsley goes across to help. Oh, look at the space here. McMahon's coming in. And Whelan.
Well, Liverpool have come out and really taken the game by the scruff of the neck, haven't they? QPR hemmed back in their half, and at the moment finding it difficult to get out and set up any attacks themselves. Good start by Liverpool.
It came off Glenn Hussain. Well, it's November the 29th. You have to go back to that date for the last Liverpool defeat. That was at Sheffield Wednesday in the league. Since then, as I say, a long unbeaten run. Here's Rush against Maddox, his marker. Houghton. Barnes just touching it on. McMahon.
The ball just now into Ian Rush from Hussein is the one you've got to play right into the corners, and that takes out the sweeper Paul Parker then.
That's a foul by Venison on Sinton. Just a word in passing from Brian Hill. And Big McDonald, the number 5, will go up now. He's the best bet really in the air for QPR as a supporter of the two front men. Although Clark to the right of McDonald may try and come in on this too. And it was Hussein who was marking McDonald. Now Bardsley to Maddox. And Clark was the player who was fouled. McMahon had a word with the referee about the decision, but it's a free kick to Rangers in quite dangerous territory here. In fact, Danny Maddox now goes forward as well as McDonald. Bardsley to float the ball in. Well taken. Face of an experienced professional. There's another one, Ray Wilkins, back to Parker. That's a good little ball, Wegerle. Paul Parker delivered that well, although it's felt that perhaps passing isn't the strongest part of his game. It certainly opened out the play. And Wegerle goes again. There's Nichols' header, Hansen. Bardsley, McDonald's moved up now in open play. He's in the area. So is Sinton here. Didn't quite get that down where he wanted it. He gave too much of it to Venison. Houghton. Oh, that's good play. McMahon. So's that. Barnes. Liverpool really stretching Rangers here. They've got 3 in the middle waiting. And it's Barnes, cross, Rush! And somehow scrambled, I think, by Kenny Sansom at the end. Away for a corner. It was a difficult ball to cope with because Barnes really curled that to the far post away from the goalkeeper, and Rush was within, I should think, a foot of sliding it in. Hussein is forward for the corner. Away by Sinton. And it's another accurate pass from Nicholl to McMahon. Liverpool spraying the ball about with a lot of confidence and plenty of width in this opening period. It's Barnes who finally misplaced it to Wilkins, and now the crowd get behind Andy Sinton. Hussein. Parker. Bardsley. And Clark's pulling away from Hansen, but the Liverpool captain got there anyway.
Not sure Alan Hansen quite intended that one, but it looked good anyway.
Touch of shirt pulling there, but the referee played an advantage because Liverpool had the ball. It was McDonald on Beardsley. And here's Clark for QPR. Here's Barnes. Rush. Houghton. McMahon to Barnes. Oh, Steve Nicola offside. Offside. But as you said, Trevor, their passing Liverpool in the opening period has been very accurate.
Well, it's been excellent 10 minutes as a cup tie, and probably the best move of the match was that magnificent move which ended up with John Barnes whipping it across the face of the goal, and Ian Rush, well, probably just a stud length away from putting Liverpool one up. At the moment, they're certainly in command.
But there's Barnes in the left-back position. That tells you something about Liverpool and the work that all their players are expected to do. Ray Wilkins making the point yesterday in Grandstand that he hasn't seen or ever experienced a team like Liverpool who work harder at getting the ball back when they lose it, which isn't all that often, actually. This is Barnes to Beardsley. They lost it there, and it was Wilkins, and it was Barnes who won it back. Nicol. And Seaman comes to catch that. Pressing his claims, David Seaman still for a World Cup place. He's actually in the B squad for the forthcoming match against the Republic of Ireland. Sinton. Houghton is back to help Venison, which will obviously be Liverpool's plan to contain Andy Sinton, the number 11 there. It's a tricky customer. In fact, he played against Liverpool at this stage last year for Brentford before he joined QPR. Here's Wilkins. Paul Parker, the captain. Wilkins to Bardsley. It's Whelan that got the ball away.
It's interesting that David Bardsley has been told now to move much more in on John Barnes, because he was picking the ball up. In fact, by trying to get both fullbacks forward, when it actually broke down, Ray Houghton out on the right and John Barnes were getting a lot of space, and they're trying to now make sure the fullbacks are very conscious of them defensively rather than getting forward too much.
It's Danny Maddox. Flicked on by Clark initially. Rangers throw. Wegley on the right-hand side there, marked by Hansen. Goal kick. Well, the QPR fans have been looking forward to this tie ever since they got through against Blackpool in the last round, because their cup run so far has been littered with replays. They went to Cardiff and drew and won here. They went to Highbury and drew and beat Arsenal here. And then after drawing at Blackpool, they played twice here at Loftus Road before finally dismissing the third division side. Here's Nicol for Liverpool, who've had a couple of replays themselves against Swansea and Norwich. Hansen. Barnes. Good movement. Rush. In by Nicol, offside flag up against Rush.
The main problem QPR have as well is Steve Nicol, because Andy Sinton plays on the left and really blocks down Venison. And then, of course, you've got Hansen and Hussein who are marking the two strikers. And really, Steve Nicol is the spare man. And by him pushing forward, he's given them all sorts of problems down that right-hand side.
This is Wegley. And now it's Wilkins. Andy Sinton's gone to the right now. "15 minutes gone, no score. Wilkins for Rangers, leaving it for Parker. Kenny Sansom, Clark, and he couldn't find Wegley. And Liverpool immediately turned defence into attack with Ray Houghton.
As it happens, Andy Sinton is going to stay over on the right. Don Howe's decided that Stevie Nicol was causing too many problems. Now really it's up to Liverpool to get Barry Venison in on the right-hand side.
This is Clark. Yes, it's definitely a tactical switch there, as you say. Andy Sinton's gone from left wing to right wing. This is Barnes for Liverpool. And he is following Nicol as Nicol starts to move forward. think you spotted that at exactly the same time as Don Howe, Trevor. And there's Andy Sinton. Simon Barker. And here's Bardsley, just touching it off, trying to find Sinton. In fact, the ball was out of play. Liverpool and their supporters quite used to being drawn away in the FA Cup. It's the 11th time in 13 rounds that they've had to travel. Beardsley, back to Houghton. And he's looking for Rush. This is Barry Venison. Barnes is there, trying to find McMahon. Stretching player was Barker. Venison to Rush. Good challenge that by Danny Maddox, it really was. It gave Barker the chance to find Clark, but he showed too much of the ball to Hussain. Barker again, Wilkins. Sinton. Bardsley. Long ball from Hussain. McDonald gets to it first, ahead of Beardsley. And that's a foul by Barker on McMahon. Don't think the free kick was taken from quite the right place, but Brian Hill's quite happy as Wilkins robs Barnes. Well, the Rangers crowd really giving it a go today. They're getting behind their side every time they move forward, as you might expect. With memories of a victory here already by 3-2 this season over Liverpool. And indeed, in the League Cup semi-finals, the last time these two teams locked horns in a cup competition 4 years ago, Rangers put Liverpool out in the, I think it was the Milk Cup then. Here's Venison. Houghton looking for Rush, a test here for Maddox. He got the tackle in. He got the ball away too. It's given Ray Wilkins time to size up the situation and find Wegley. Barker. Bardsley. Sinton back to Wilkins. Kenny Sansom's made a forward run on this side of the field. This is Barker. And Wegley's over on the right at the moment. Bardsley curls it in. And Beardsley finds Houghton. And there was a late challenge. Simon Barker on Peter Beardsley. Still 0-0, and I would say apart from the cross from Barnes that Rush nearly reached, no clear-cut scoring chances yet, but there might be here. This is Barnes.
Defending well, QPR. 1 or 2 gaps just opening up, but they're always with that spare man. Just got somebody coming across. Danny Maddox has started very well. Like 1 or 2 gaps and also kept a tight rein on Ian Rush, but at the moment still finding it difficult to get those men forward to really worry the Liverpool defence.
Forward by Nicol, and there again Maddox with Rush. Got a feeling that's going to be one of the key contests in this game. Danny Maddox has started very well against him, but with Rush you have to be alert for 90 minutes. There's no question about that. One chance will do for him. This is Parker. Beardsley. Pulling of the shirt really there. Houghton on Sanson. The game has settled down now into a clearly defined pattern. It's the Rangers sweeper system, as we said at the start, against the talented Liverpool attack. And Liverpool in defence at the moment, completely undisturbed. This is venison. But Queen's Park Rangers haven't been a prolific scoring team this season. Their top scorers have only got 6 goals each, as opposed to Liverpool, who've got Rush on 19, Barnes on 17 and Beardsley on 15, which must mean something, I suppose. Here's Barnes now. I think he may have trod on the linesman's foot there, but Mr. Whitehouse didn't seem too disturbed by it. Houghton. Now Whelan got away from Wilkins in midfield there and brought the save out of David Seaman. Let's say the luminous yellow jackets now on the police and stewards in the crowd have become a really regular and recognisable part of English football stadiums, and we all know why. And certainly it must be a sign of great reassurance to people in terms of safety. Here's Parker and Maddox. Clark, Barker, took that down beautifully, Simon Barker. He had a spell in the England under-21 side when he was with Blackburn Rovers, Simon Barker, and he's a midfield player with plenty of stamina as well, Trevor.
He gets forward well. At the moment, he and Ray Wilkins are having to concentrate a lot on defence, but that tactic in the league match here when QPR won 3-2, that ball in that time to Colin Clark. On the league game, it was Mark Falco who caused him a lot of problems in the air, and that's one perhaps QPR could adopt, because they did bring them success in the league match, as I say, when they won 3-2.
So we've been playing for 25 minutes. It's 0-0 here at Loftus Road. Hussain didn't quite make that. Wegley tried to. Sinton! Great challenge by Ronnie Whelan. Putting off as he was about to shoot, and in fact got his foot to the ball and conceded the corner. Whelan saving what might well have been the opening goal for Rangers. Sinton will take the corner. McDonald will come to the near post with Clark. Maddox is there as well. Clark's there. Oh! Over the top. Was it, was Grobbelaar fouled? Well, he got up well anyway. Clark got the header in, but earlier than that, Ronnie Whelan will take some credit for how quickly he got to Andy Sinton in that scoring position. First true threat from Queen's Park Rangers. Whelan in attack now. Beardsley.
Again, both the half opportunities came from balls played up into the air, and that's something I think QPR have got to think about.
He was looking to his left, but Kenny Sansom hadn't come forward. But it's still a decent cross by Barker. Clark is there, so too is Steve Nicol, covering in the centre. Well, that pepped things up a bit, that little spell from Rangers. There's Whelan again. It is quite noticeable how many times Whelan in defensive positions as a midfield player gets back to save the situation. But now here are Rangers again with Clark looking for Wegerle. What do you make of Wegerle, Trevor? Desmond was making the point earlier that sometimes, talking about it with Jimmy, that he's a star man on one day and can be frustrating on another.
Well, he loves a dribble, and you know, whenever you take people on defenders, if you keep getting caught in possession, then the crowd will get a bit frustrated. There's Brian Hill in a bit of trouble, but Paul Parker asking if he's okay. Didn't see what happened to him, but looks like an ankle of some sort.
Brian actually took charge of that final against Wimbledon. He's a referee who likes to keep a smile on his face. He's getting attention from Roy Evans of Liverpool as the Rangers substitutes watch, but he's all right. In fact, he is limping a bit, Brian Hill, and offside against John Barnes. And if he has to go off, then the senior linesman will have to take over. That would be Kevin Lynch from Lincoln, who's on the near side of the pitch at the moment. And it was something, by a strange irony, that we were discussing in the referee's room before the game, what the procedure when the ref has to go off, because it happened in a match just last week. Here's Wegerle. Sansom. Clark. Barker. Sinton coming in, and Grobbelaar, and Ray Wilkins! Oh, it's a goal! Ray Wilkins for Queen's Park Rangers, and Grobbelaar has to take the blame. And the London side in front, the holders behind, and it came from a man who they used to say never gets forward. Grobbelaar tried to do it with one hand, made a mess of it, and a left foot volley by Wilkins right in the top corner. And there's the face of a man who knows that he's to blame. Wilkins, who scored against Arsenal last week, now puts Rangers in front in the cup tie after 29 minutes, and the referee now is the centre of attention because he has got an injury, and I have a feeling that Brian Hill may have to retire. The senior linesman has gone across, Kevin Lynch, but here's what happened at this very exciting time in the match. Barker's cross, Sinton's the player coming in first, Grobbelaar palms it, doesn't get there, and Wilkins smashes it, possibly off the head of Nicol, but it's a goal to Rangers. Wilkins will claim it, and there's a conference on the far side while you're watching this again regarding the referee and the linesman, because Brian Hill is having to leave the field, and as Rangers take the lead, we wait for a change of referee. Now, what will happen is that Kevin Lynch from Lincoln, the mustachioed official, will take the middle. The other linesman, Bill Whitehouse from West Bromwich, will stay where he is, and the reserve official, Alan Mitchell of Kings Langley in Hertfordshire, is coming across to our side of the field. That's the reorganisation. There's Alan Mitchell. That's the reorganisation of officials, and I really feel I've put the hoodoo on Brian Hill by asking him before the game what would happen there, but he's had to go off. And more important, perhaps, from the football point of view, the holders are a goal behind. And what a good volley it was, which Trevor may want to mention in a moment. Let's see if Liverpool can strike straight back. Nicol.
Well, there were two or three good, really, involvements. First of all, the ball to Colin Clark, which he did well to head back. Simon Barker once again joining. Good little bit of skill to get the cross in. But, of course, Bruce Grobbelaar will know that he could have really pushed it away, but certainly not try and caught it one-handed. Ray Wilkins pounced very quick, hit it with his left foot, not his favourite foot, although he's a good two-footed player, and he's taken the lead for QPR.
The reason the referee had to go off, by the way. Brian Hill, he sustained a knock on the shin in an accidental collision with Colin Clark at Queen's Park Rangers. Well, that's really opened up this sixth-round cup tie, and possibly from a neutral's point of view, it was the best thing that could have happened, because Liverpool now have to come out and find a way back. All that time that Ray Wilkins spent in his career, Don Howe's encouraged him to forage forward when he can. All that time he spent as a holding midfield player. And since he's joined Rangers, he's been up there a great deal of the time. Here's Bardsley. McMahon. Whelan finds Barry Venison. 5 up for Liverpool, waiting for a cross. Rush tries to find Beardsley. Now Wilkins in defence. He's such an influence on this Rangers team. Foul. Hansen holding Wegley. Oh, it's gone the other way. I would have said Hansen was holding Wegley's shirt, but still. Here's McMahon. Barnes. Up against Bardsley. Barnes cross, Rush! Just glanced his forehead. Houghton. Venison. And Wilkins is there again. It's a foul. Bardsley on Barnes. Liverpool noticeably moving up a gear, having been taken aback by that Rangers strike. But there were plenty of goals in the league game, and there may be more to come today. Barnes got 2 that day, by the way, and he's lining up a free kick here, about 25 yards out. McMahon is there too. And McMahon strikes it well over. Talking of striking the ball, Trevor, you were mentioning Ray Wilkins there. Really a volley from that position. Some players possibly would have skied that one, but he really hit it through, didn't he?
He hit it well, but it's one of those you don't want to try and break the net because it's sort of knee height and it's easy just to get underneath it and blast it into the crowd. But it was a controlled volley, just cleared the 2 defenders who were scampering back trying to block it on the line.
Here's Beardsley. Barnes. Houghton. Tries to find Barnes again. They'll have to hurry here, Rangers, because Venison's up with the attack as well. Sansom. But what an opportunity now for QPR to capitalise on that. Here's Whelan. But these few minutes are vital for them. Barnes. This is Hansen. Barnes has switched to the right for a moment, and Kenny Sansom has fouled him. And it's going to be a free kick to Liverpool. Glenn Hussein has made his way to the far side of the penalty area to come in behind the others. Venison's also trotting forward now. Well, that won't find anybody. And just for a moment, Trevor, QPR have the advantage.
Well, Liverpool lost their fluency a bit, didn't they, when Don Howe switched into definitely to the right wing to block Stevie Nicol. And although Barry Venison now is the free man at right back, they haven't made as good a use to him as a free attacking ploy as they did when Steve Nicol was there. So at the moment, a little bit rattled, 1-0 down, lost their fluency and must just try and settle down, get their possession game going again, and try and knock some better service into Rush and Beardsley, which has just sort of waned a little bit the last 5 or 10 minutes.
I'm just trying to think, I think from memory, it's the first time in the FA Cup this season that Liverpool have been a goal behind, and it's going to be most interesting to see what effect that has on the game. Barnes is having very much a roving commission today. He's been on the left, on the right, down the middle. Here's McMahon. Good challenge by Parker. And Wegerle's gone to the left, Clark to the right. Simon Barker, whose cross produced that goal. Now Clark. And Paul Parker, the sweeper, is in the penalty area, furthest forward for Rangers. If they can get the ball in. It's still Clark. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Liverpool 0 in the 6th round of the FA Cup. Nicol, Beardsley. Just in case anybody is coming in on a pleasant Sunday afternoon, having missed the first half hour, Ray Wilkins, the scorer. And there he is again in attack. Pressing Glenn Hussein, it's a foul. It's a free kick to Liverpool. The foul came before the handball. No hard feelings. Seven minutes left in the first half as Rangers with their tails up, working hard with Kenny Sansom on the ball. Good pass to Wegerle. And another good 1-2 to Wilkins. Now Barker, slick that. And neat. Sansom.
Believe it, Kenny, believe it!
Barnes now on the right wing. Beardsley, in fact, has gone across wide on the left at the moment as they try to find ways of upsetting this carefully organised QPR defensive system. Free kick to Liverpool. Hussein has made his way forward. This is Venison. Barnes. It's a dangerous turn. And Maddox got in with the challenge. Barnes facing the kicker, rush in the 6-yard box. Hussein waiting to come in. There's Barnes. Clark heads it out. Back in by Houghton. Whelan shot, and was a player offside.
QPR, as I said, defending well. When you play the sweeper system and sometimes you hem back, there's going to be occasions where you have to let the opposition knock it around, as Liverpool do so well. But when it gets into that penalty area, they've always just getting that toe end in and the foot in. What's important now is to make sure they don't concede an equaliser and go in at half-time still leading 1-0.
Yes, the incentive's certainly there now for the West London club. Wilkins has given them a wonderful platform here. Bardsley to Barker. Bardsley's cross, Clark lets it go to Wegerle. Here's Clark, now it's Kenny Sansom. Wegerle back to Wilkins. Sinton. And Houghton to McMahon. Now there's a break on for Liverpool. 3 up with him. Beardsley going down the inside left channel. Bardsley the defender. Very assured. As indeed has been much of Rangers' play, especially since they took the lead. 4 minutes left in the half. Rangers 1, Liverpool 0. Houghton. Here's Venison now for Liverpool. And off McDonald for a corner. So let's just see what's going to happen from this corner. Well, Liverpool haven't made the most of their corners, there's no question about that. Sinton to Wegerle. Foul by Venison. Now the referee who took over, Kevin Lynch, we'll just call him a referee, he's not a linesman of course, he's got all the full qualifications, and he books Barry Venison for that trip on Roy Wegerle. That's the first caution of the afternoon, Trevor.
Well, Roy Wegerle's close skill invites defenders to make tackles like that, and if he does just toe-end the ball past you and you're late with your tackle, you always got the chance of getting booked. Probably a little bit unlucky, but he's got his name in the notebook anyway.
Sansom takes the free kick for Rangers. McMahon. Sinton. Well, Nicol was a few yards behind him there, and Wegerle's in the centre. McMahon won it, Barker tackled him. Play on, Hussein. Now, can Liverpool pull their way round before half-time? This is Barnes. Houghton. Rangers again shaping up in defence in tidy fashion, but Russia's shaken off Danny Maddox. That could be vital. Houghton. What are your thoughts then on the first half generally, Trevor?
Well, Liverpool started very well and took a grip, and then QPR, certainly by switching Sinton to block Nicol off, came more and more into the game. Had a good spell when they played 3 or 4 longer balls into Colin Clark, and one of them brought the bit of fruition. Bruce Grobbelaar couldn't deal with the cross, and Ray Wilkins tucked it in with his left foot. I seem to remember him scoring, was it against Brighton in a cup final? He curled one in with his left foot. Might be something about the FA Cup that encourages him to use that left peg of his.
Well, you're speaking as a man who's scored in a cup final, so you should know. In fact, I was going to mention the hat-trick Trevor scored for his Sunday team today, but I think Billy Bonds has turned things around at West Ham. Now they don't need you anymore. Venison forward, looking for Rush. Here's Ray Houghton. Barnes. Oh, space for McMahon, and for Whelan, and for offside, Beardsley. And Ronnie Whelan has said something to the referee, Mr. Lynch, and is being called across. A little bit of anxiety creeping into Liverpool's play, perhaps, and into their feelings approaching half-time. Kenny Dalglish's side 1-0 down. Wegerle. Sinton, who was fouled. McMahon came in behind him. And Rangers look as though they will finish this first half on a high note. There haven't been many chances. Wilkins took the one that came his way. We're in the last minute of the half, and Danny Maddox is forward for the free kick. So is McDonald. As Clark challenges Grobbelaar and leaves him off the field of play, we're into stoppage time. Here's Barnes. Good pass for Houghton. Rush waiting in the centre. And Simon Barker aware of the danger. Well, Rangers have stuck to Don Howe's carefully arranged shape and policy, and it's paid off for them in this first half. No question about that. And they finish it to a great roar from the Loftus Road crowd, because the London club, thanks to Ray Wilkins, go off a goal in the lead. The deputy referee there, Mr. Lynch, having a word with Paul Parker. Bruce Grobbelaar goes off disappointed, but at half-time, a smile on the face of Ray Wilkins, a frown perhaps on the face of the FA Cup holders. It's Queen's Park Rangers 1, Liverpool 0.
Well, Liverpool certainly knocked out of their stride by that goal. What did you make of that first half, Jim?
Well, it was an interesting one. As Trevor pointed out, the tactical battle was won by Don Howe, because Nicol was getting forward on the left and causing problems, and he immediately stopped that by bringing Stinton over. I mean, the counter to that in the next half would be to bring Saunton on at left back and Nicol at right back, because both are adventurous and it might give them the space they need. Rangers have done so well, you know, with that tactical side of it. But really, Liverpool haven't really functioned. The only one who's made us think that they might score a goal is Barnes. Beardsley, when he's not functioning and sparking at his best, then Liverpool are half the side for me, and I feel that at the moment.
OK, Jim, thanks very much. We'll look in some detail at some of those incidents in a few minutes, but of course there's another quarter-final tie that's been taking place today. Sheffield United against Manchester United. Let's show you precisely what happened now. Commentating, Gerald Sinstad.
Phelan's header. Todd. Bradshaw to Todd. Sheffield's free kick, and Ince would do well not to express an opinion. He's a volatile character, Paul Ince, so much talent with his feet. And too ready with his tongue sometimes. Nice little flick on, and it was just too high for Whitehouse. And Garner at the near post. The perfect flick on. You rehearse those time and time again on the training ground, and you hope for one or two to come off. That was beautifully done, but it just flew inches too high for Whitehouse. Bruce just saved it going for the corner. Garner near post, Dean at the far. And Booker coming in too, but Pallister was above the ball. Bruce's header, and then Ince, and now Wallace. A brave header by Gannon, and there may be some profit from it. Whitehouse, oh! It was asking for it, and Garner couldn't give it. Whitehouse did some good work here. He dummied the shot, then played it. And how much did Garner miss by? A couple of inches, not more. Dane Whitehouse scored a goal at Bradford last Saturday that was his first for Sheffield United. Hughes to Wallace. Oh, he's got a bit of room. Hill has gone to cover him. Bradshaw behind Hill. And Wallace has beaten them both with ease. And Tracy got down as McClare got a knee to the ball, it looked. But Wallace there just dismissed Hill and Bradshaw. Gone. And now, as time to look, came off Booker, then off McClare, and Tracy smothered it. But there's the real threat. Forward by Hughes, and Robbins is onside. Can he pull it back? Corner. I thought it went out for a goal kick. So did Stancliffe, so did Tracy. And so did a lot of the Sheffield United fans behind that goal. Wallace. Good back header. McClare. McClare against the bar, and then McClare on the rebound from the corner. And so they will be wanting to know, was that really a corner or was it a goal kick? Let's have a look at the goal itself. McClare's header, and then his left foot. And that's his third goal in 4 games. And we'll just have another look at this. And did the whole of the ball cross the line or not? Hughes now for McClare. Robbins in the middle, Wallace on this side, Hughes going in, Ince going in. 4 there if McClare can cross. Hughes, the 1-2 and offside. McClare was allowed to run by the Sheffield United back 4 and was pretty clearly offside. 10 men behind the ball for Manchester United. Alistair for McClare. Duxbury racing ahead of him. Good pass into his stride. 3 to cross to, this is Hughes. Sheffield United were a bit stretched for defenders, and that has left Wallace in the clear. The shot, I think, was going wide anyway. Martin. Hughes. Duxbury. Again, Wallace unmarked, but offside. Cross comes right through to Wallace, but he was offside. Alex Ferguson, who's come down to the bench in this second half, has been on his feet more than he's been sitting down, expostulating, gesticulating. Wallace. Looks like he's heading for goal, and he tried to float a bender. Didn't work for him. Good idea. He wants to go for goal, Danny Wallace. Alistair beaten that time by Dean. It's fallen for Agana, and again, and this time Leighton saves, but really Agana should have done better than that. That was Agana's first shot. The second one with his left foot was very well saved by Leighton, to his credit. Stancliffe. It's time for the long ball now, no matter what side you are. 1 down in a cup tie and a minute and a bit to go. Dean. Controlled pass in for Todd. Todd the pull-back. That was a good save. It really was needed then. And he plucked that right off Bob Booker's eyebrows. Good work by Todd. And Booker, I think, could see the net shimmering. The final whistle. Manchester United have beaten Sheffield United by a first-half goal from Brian McClare. They will be one of the last 4 in the FA Cup this season. People have been saying to me Manchester United's name is on the cup this season. Have you been feeling that?
No, I think that's a trap you can fall into. I think you've got to earn your right to win any cup, but I do think you need a little slice of luck. Any time I've won anything, that I've always looked back on an occasion where I said, well, with a wee bit of luck today. And I just hope we get some luck in the semi-final.
4 straight away wins for Manchester United. They've certainly earned their place to be in that semi-final draw, which we'll have live later on. Here, of course, Queen's Park Rangers leading Liverpool by that goal to 0. Let's take a look at the goal, Jimmy.
Yes, it was a superb
good cross,
goal.
good goal.
Looking forward to seeing it again.
We have to say, really.
Well, yes, but it was good how hard Simon Barker had to work. One, to get to the ball, and then how hard he had to work on the cross to make sure after the dummy that he got up in the air and made Grobbelaar struggle, because he was struggling, but it's that one-handed habit of his which turned round and bit him, and a beautiful volley at the end of it. You see, he didn't work quite as hard on the cross coming over as Barker worked to get the ball right over to the far post. There he is. See, if he'd gone at that with two hands, which he could have done, he'd have fallen on his back and it might have hurt, but two hands are definitely better than one in that situation. But we've seen Bruce get away with that year after year. Ball drops on the floor and he's onto it first. Well,